أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Assalamu alaikum all. Welcome to our weekly webinar. Inshallah, we'll be continuing to the topic of worship, ibadah, this week. We have Brother Colin Turner from United Kingdom and Salih Sayilgan from Washington, D.C. I'll be, inshallah, assisting them this week again. We are going through, as we know, the tafsir of Risale Nur by contemplating on the text of the tafsir, inshallah, in a discussion. Before starting, to just remember about what we went through towards the last weeks, I can just say a couple of words, or the speakers, if they want to step in and remind us, please feel free. So this is a very broad topic. It's kind of including all our lives, our relations between the Abd, the servant, and the Creator. So there's a lot to say, and maybe there would be separate sessions, including our salat, our prayers, our psalm, the fasting, and other forms of the ibadah, worship. Well, in these sessions, we just try to cover what does it mean for our lives and why we need it, and how it establishes this fundamental relation between the Creator and the servant. Inshallah, let me start reading from the text, and on the way we can, inshallah, contemplate on further thoughts. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. From the 24th words, 5th branch, 2nd fruit, if anybody wants to follow up from their books. O soul, O my nafs, worship, ibadah, is not the introduction to additional rewards, but the result of previous bounties. Worship is not the introduction to additional rewards, but the result of previous bounties. I guess this single sentence tells us a lot, because most of the time this is how our relations work. So we have needs, we have desires, we have hopes, we have dreams, and we ask for those things from the Creator. And I guess there's nothing wrong about this, but it should be, I guess, in a worshipful manner, in a way. So he kind of reminds us this fundamental part of the relation. I consider this as kind of a remembrance, a dhikr, that we need to keep doing all the time. The spirit of the worship, how we understand the worship and being in a worshipful state, as we talked in the previous weeks. So again, this reminds us that fundamental relation. Worship is not the introduction to additional rewards, but the result of previous bounties. Worship and servitude of God look to the divine command and divine pleasure. The reason for worship is the divine command, and its result is divine pleasure. Its fruits and benefits look to the akhirah, hereafter, afterlife. Any words until here from Brother Colin or Saleh?
Not so far, really.
Okay. Let me step in then the next slide. Yes, we have received our wage and are accordingly charged with the duties of service and worship. We have received our wage and are accordingly charged with the duties of service and worship. Because also, since the all-glorious Creator, who clothed you in existence which is pure good, has given you a stomach and appetite through his name of provider, he has placed before you all foods on a table of bounties. Then, since he has given you a life decked out with senses, life too requires sustenance like a stomach. All your senses, like eyes and ears, are like hands before which he has placed a table of bounties as broad as the earth. Then, because he has given you humanity, which requires many immaterial foods and bounties, he has laid out before that stomach of humanity, in so far as the hand of the mind can reach, an extensive table of bounties as broad as the worlds of both the inner and the outer dimensions of things. That's to say, with regard to your corporeality, your material side, you are an insignificant, weak, impotent. Let me. Did I skip? Yeah,
I think you
I
skipped.
skipped one. Yeah, sorry. Then, since he has given you Islam and belief, which require infinite bounties and are nourished through countless fruits of mercy and our supreme humanity, he has opened up before you a table of bounties, pleasure, and happiness, which includes the sphere of contingency, together with the sphere of his sacred names and attributes. Then, through giving you love, which is a light of belief, he has bestowed on you an endless table of bounties, happiness, and pleasure. So I want to stop here and go back to the first slide, if inshallah I can. Yes. So ideas, we have received our wage and are accordingly charged with the duties of service and worship. This whole part that we want to contemplate this week is, I guess, related to this sentence. So as we know in the Quran and holy texts, we are reminded that what we have already given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the sun, the moon, the atmosphere, all the universe is managed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and is given to our service. And animals and plants, and even small tiny creatures that we can't see by eye are controlled according to our needs. And at every step of our lives, we have been given and need a lot of things. But most of the time, even though we read this in the Quran and learn and admit as believers, we're kind of forgetful, and we kind of do not even contemplate about these things. So in this particular part, he's kind of reminding us, as far as I understand, what we have been given personally as ourselves. So let's contemplate step by step over this. So what I have been given. So moreover, after given all these things, I have been asking, like I'm asking this from God, that from God, what he has been given to me, except problems and sicknesses and this and that. So I need little bit of a reminder and contemplate in myself, I guess, to just understand what already has been given to me, at what point I am now in relation to the Creator. And inshallah, let me read the first part. Because, O soul, since the all glorious Creator, who clotheth you in existence which is pure good, has given you a stomach and appetite through his name of provider, has placed before you all foods on a table of bounty. So this first part is, as far as I understand, I will ask to our speakers contemplate on this. This including our existence. So we were nothing. We haven't been come to this, a witnessed world, the alam shahada. So everything we are attached, everything we are concerned, everything we are in love, everything we had was nothing. We are non-existent. So first of all, he brought us from being nothing to the existence. This is, if we compare these two things, existence and non-existence, Adam and Wujud, I guess this is a state of pure good. Any words on this, Brother Colin?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Usually we approach the notion of worshipfulness and reward as some kind of symmetrical relationship. We start off, we think, on an equal footing. So it's like the beginning of a football match, it's 0-0. And we think that then if we are worshipful, and you were right to point out that we should think in terms of being worshipful rather than acts of worship, but we can explore that a little bit later. We tend to think that, it's 0-0, and now if I am worshipful or if I perform acts of worship, I will get reward for that. But actually, we come to this transaction already in debt, because when we come to this world, we have been given existence. And so when we worship or when we are worshipful, we are not doing anything over and above our duty, actually. We are commanded to worship because that's the reason we've been created. And worship is not something that's done for the sake of additional rewards. It's actually, worshipfulness is a response to the bounties that have already been given to us. So we are commanded to worship because that's the reason we've been created. And we've been created to manifest the divine names consciously, which is the very crux of worshipfulness and the very reason for our creation in the first place. Because the hidden treasure, which Allah is, in his in the famous hadith, Kuntu kanzan makhfiyan, I was a hidden treasure. The creation is in order for Allah to gaze upon his perfections in the mirror of created beings. So we are given creation, we are brought into the realm of creation, which is pure good, and all we are asked to do is not to dirty our mirror, or if it is dirty, to take steps so that he may remove the dirt from it. So worshipfulness and servitude are really the duties that we have been tasked with in order to justify the wage that we've already been given. So he's given us existence, which is pure good, and he's given us the ability to experience many of his attributes in his capacity as provider, as Ar-Razzaq. And therefore, we are doing what is our duty, and in order to repay our debt, in a sense. So it's not a symmetrical relationship. We're not starting the match 0-0. We're not starting the match on even footing. We are already beholden to him for giving us existence in the first place. So that's how I'd like to frame it at the beginning.
Thank you. So we have been given this existence, and we are also provided by him. And so still we don't have an existence depending on our own selves. We're not separated, or we are not, now depending on other things besides him, but still we have been depending on him after given existence by him. So he's also Qayyum, our Qayyum. I guess the second part of the sentence reminds us this fact: has given you a stomach and appetite through his name of provider. He has placed before you all foods on a table of bounties. We will talk about different kind of bounties we have been given step by step. But as far as I understand, this first part just includes that existence and the continuation of that existence. We are provided by him continually. So I want to turn to Brother Salih if he wants to step in and say some words on this first part, inshallah. Is he hearing us?
Is he here?
I don't see him.
I think, sorry, I think I was muted. So, Colin, I've already put it beautifully. Just first, assalamu alaikum, everybody. So I hope everyone is doing well under the pandemic. And thank you for having me. So one thing is just, something in line with what Colin Ho just said. One thing, again, often there is a tendency, I worship and I deserve something. I deserve a reward, right? So I want to be rewarded because I have been really, doing the 5 daily prayers, have been doing a lot of things, and why not to have something now, right? Because given that human beings are reward oriented, and now here is a reminder from the Risala that basically it is not about the worship is not about reward, right? Not to be, and it's not about an immediate reward, but rather it is about to contemplate what you have already been given, right? And one other interesting thing, to me is, especially in English literature, so you have basically somehow worship and faith are classified differently. Basically, there are two different separate realms. And it seems to me here that it actually makes connection between worship and Iman. So and there are actually a number of hadiths that worship is part of your Iman, including the 5 daily prayers, that it is related to faith. So in this sense, worship is about, again, as Colin Hoja mentioned, that it is about to know God. So it's not, there is, again, often a tendency to think of worship as a goal, right? But rather it seems it is a means really to know God, to contemplate Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's blessings, my understanding. So I think it is interesting to see that it makes lots of connection between contemplation, or the ni'mah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and worship.
Mm-hmm. Any words on this pure good part? Can we compare really being non-existent and existent? Sometimes we come to such an edge that we come with kind of a suicidal idea. I wish I weren't here at all, kind of, thinking. Is this could be a healthy option, or is this just a sudden feeling that comes and goes, but is really existence just pure good comparing to non-existence? Any words on this? Any ideas on this?
Pure existence. Existence is pure good, because existence is a reflection of the divine names. Mm-hmm. Worship is actually, in a sense, passive, and I don't want to say negative, but we don't actually create anything as human beings. And I think Ustad makes this quite clear because he talks in terms of stomachs all the time and appetite, you know, on several levels, you know, the physical stomach and metaphorical stomachs. And stomachs are empty. That's their, you know, their default state is that they are empty and they are to be filled. They have appetites. So there is a longing and a yearning for existence. And so basically, worshipfulness means not creating anything or doing anything, but it means not doing something. It means not dirtying the mirror. So the whole transaction is existence and non-existence. We are more predisposed towards non-existence in a sense because we're unable to create. And for us, destruction is easier than construction. We've often talked about the fact that if you want to build a house as one single individual, it will take you maybe a year single-handedly to build a house, but it takes you just an hour to destroy it with a box of matches. So what's this telling us? This is telling us that for us, creation is extremely difficult. And that's just on the apparent level. In actual fact, we can't create at all. But Allah condescends to us and shows us, you know, that actually we don't create by making it very difficult for us to actually have recourse to causes and making it very easy for us to bring about destruction. So what's he saying? He's saying that our default position is a predisposition to non-existence, whereas he is pure existence. And worshipfulness for us should be just recognizing that and attempting not to dirty our mirror, which is given to us in a pure, clean state. And worshipfulness also has to be constant because existence is constant. And the perpetual renewal of existence from second to second calls for a response. And that response is worshipfulness, or should be.
Just
Yeah.
concerning pure good, I mean, you know, just again, we often see, you know, because of their struggles, problems, what they go through, people, they complain, right? They complain for what they don't have, or for what they go through. So here the emphasis is just if you really reflect on your existence, this is enough reason for you to be grateful and to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So even if you reflect on this, because and again, given that, you know, existence is connected to life, right? And then in a way everything is circled around life, right? Just generally, if you look at our world, you know, safety, security, and then with life, with existence, actually, that human beings, generally speaking, they enjoy a great privilege, right, compared to other beings. It just right, through Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name, Ar-Razzaq. And again, you know, the reference is right, that foods on the table of before he has placed before you all foods on a table of bounty. So because of the, you know, existence, because of life, you enjoy so many blessings compared to other beings, and it should lead you to be grateful regardless, because what is the other option? Basically, non-existence, right? And then just having life, just you know, enjoying existence should lead human beings to be grateful, to worship.
Thank you so much, Brother Colin and Salih. So I like this approach very much. So I guess what I understand from what you're saying is most of the time we just take it guaranteed, you know, kind of as if this is from our own existence. We just take it, okay, now I exist, so where am I going from here? So, but did we really contemplate what is non-existence? You know, what is, you know, whatever I'm concerned, whatever I love, whatever I am in love with, whatever, you know, is in my world, in my own realm, would be non-existent. Nothing would be around. So did we really contemplate on this? I guess we didn't, and it's really hard for us to feel it. Maybe I would say some atheists, some people who has no relation with the creator, or no conscious relations, in a way. Maybe they have a relation. Of course, every single creature has a relation with the creator, but not a conscious relation. They might, feel this non-existence, how it is such a burden on a human being. So Brother Collins' approach was very nice. He remind us that there's no doubt that existence is pure good, but where are we at now, in this adventure of coming into existence? So the more we serve the creators who gave us the existence, his purpose, the more kind of we are approaching to this existence, the absolute existence, which is God's existence. So the more we become a manifestation to his beautiful names, the more we benefit from that existence. Otherwise, we are like closing our mirrors. We are turning our back. We're covering that mirror, so we don't benefit from that existence at all. So, but there shouldn't be any, I believe, discussion over if existence is good or not. If it wasn't there, there would be no discussion at all. We cannot talk even on this. So thank you so much. It was a great reminder to myself. I don't know if I got it correctly. And
I think you did, absolutely, and I think you added to it as well. You expressed the notion that we are hungry for existence because we are hungry for the perfections, and we see the names, that we see the attributes of perfection, and of course, mistakenly, because of the ana, the human eye, the nafs, appropriates the names for itself at a very early age. And of course, we have to do that anyway, because as we know from our study of Anna, we need to be able to make a comparison. But we are told that these attributes are ours, and we appropriate them, and we try to perfect them, and we love them, we guard them jealously, because these are existence. This is existence, and we shun non-existence, non-existence and nothingness, lack, privation, all of those are absolute evil. And we try to move away from that. This is why, we start off from a position of complete need and complete longing, and our capacity is endless. We start off zalum and jahul. We know nothing and we are nothing. In other words, we are complete non-existence. But we are hungry for existence. We are hungry for the names. And this is why we invite them, we hunt them, we search for them, we go after them, we covet them. But they don't belong to us. And as you rightly said, if we clean our mirror, we can enjoy those names as reflections. But if we don't clean the mirror, then we sever the connection, and we may be able to enjoy a kind of attenuated perfection, but it ends with death and then it disappears. Whereas with believers, they are able to enjoy that reflection eternally. So we are hunger, we are need, we are all stomachs in a sense, material and immaterial.
so the worship in a way gives us existence in this way. So because we are facing our mirror to the source of the existence, the absolute existence, in this way, with this connection of worship. Can I summarize like that?
Yeah, that's a good way of seeing worshipfulness, actually. It's inviting in more and more purified, beautiful names, that we can enjoy as reflections, not as appropriations, not as possessions, but as reflections. And others will enjoy it through our reflecting those names as well, because we are all mazhar, you know, we are all locus of manifestation, but we must also try to be mushir, which is a conscious mirror.
Mhm.
We have to try to be a conscious mirror.
Let me read this next passage. Inshallah, it's also related, so we can continue discussing same point. Then, since he has given you a life decked out with senses, life too requires sustenance like stomach. All your senses, like eyes and ears, are like hands before which he has placed a table of bounties as broad as the earth. So this is a second dimension to our existence, I believe, and it's a very important dimension because, as we know, Ustad compares while he's talking about the importance of life. Please, correct me or remind me in additional part. He's talking about a bee, a honeybee, and a mountain. So it's a very interesting comparison. This huge mountain has only relation with the place it is sitting. Yes, it has an existence, but it's just sitting there. The bulk part, the lifeless part of the or unconscious part of the mountain. But the honeybee, when the life comes in, it has relation with all the flowers around, all the spring, the sun, the moon, the coming of the seasons and other animals and plants, the atmosphere. Almost now with this life, it has a relation with the whole universe. So it's a second dimension in a way of our existence, which brings a lot of benefit in a way to understand the giver of existence. Because now we easily understand that it's not our existence, but it is kind of given to us because the creator shows us that we are almost in need of everything, and everything is given to our service by him. So now we start making a sense, a meaning out of this existence, I believe, through the life. Any words if you want to step in and talk about the life? Brother Salih or Brother Colin?
I mean, just connected to the first passage. So remember that that passage mentions how, again, we discussed that how it is a great privilege, right, to exist, right, existence, wujud, and now move to, because then with the existence, right, with the stage of wujud, then comes life, and then again this he gives an example how because of life, human beings, they enjoy so many privileges, right? They just with their senses, right? Eyes and ears, again, uses the analogy of hands, that how, again, your eyes and ears, in a way, interesting analogy. So because remember that basically, if you think the number of things that your ears can hear or that your eyes can see, right? It opens like a vast territory in front of the territory of bounties, graces and ni'mas from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just if you, and again, I mentioned this before too, it is interesting that how that Ustad constantly makes connection between worship and contemplation, tafakkur and iman, right? Because there is often tendency just really to dismiss part, but apparently an important part of worship is really about tafakkur, right? About contemplation, about contemplating Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's ni'mas, right? That how we are blessed, or to see the universe, right? The creation as a manifestation of his names. right? So the connection between worship um, and the contemplation, and then comes to like vijud and life, because and again, imagine yourself, right? Your privilege without life, but and think that how with life you can enjoy so many, right? So many blessings um, through your senses, right? And here's examples are eyes and ears.
I
Yes,
think,
yeah. Go ahead.
no, I think Saleh's got the, he's hit the nail on the head, Life opens up worlds for us which we need because, Allah can only be known through, life is one of the things that many, many, many divine names can be known through, because life, he says, I think, is the light of wujud, is the light of existence. And with life come all of the senses, the, sight, hearing, touch, taste, smell, and all of the, the non-physical senses, the lataif, which Ustad calls the lataif, these very subtle senses which are immaterial. And all of these require sustenance in the same way that the physical stomach requires sustenance. So our senses are metaphorical hands, that are stretched out to touch and experience everything that they can find. And the bounties which are available are countless in number when you think of it. When you think of, all of the things that sight can see and that hearing can hear, that touch can experience, that taste can savor, all of these things, they expose so many different names, and so many different configurations of names, combinations of names. So Saleh was right. Life opens up a whole new realm. Imagine being a stone. A stone can only, know a very, very few divine names. And no doubt it has a consciousness, but it's not alive in the same way that human beings are alive. So we have that advantage.
I guess maybe because of this huge meaning of the life, even our creed includes a total understanding of life. As we know, we even believe in the angels that accompanies those things that we think unconscious, so they have a conscious worship state via those angels that accompany them, the meaning including them. Otherwise, as you said, think about a universe without any life. We have storms, we have rain, we have these galaxies going around, we have day and night, but there's no life. It doesn't make sense at all. It's a very interesting concept to contemplate over, but we don't even think about it. But with just life, everything, as you said it very nicely, it's light of existence in a way. I want to, inshallah, step to the second passage. Then, because he has given you humanity, which requires many immaterial foods and bounties, he has laid out before that stomach of humanity in so far as the hand of the mind can reach an extensive table of bounties as broad as the worlds of both the inner and outer dimensions of things. So, Brother Colin was talking about these five senses we have that we feel, we sense, we try to understand the things around us, but it doesn't end there, but continues with our humanity with a meaning. So we admire things, we love things, we are attached to things. We say beautiful, we say cute. We have, different even definitions of our feelings. So with our humanity, there is a third dimension to this existence. To even our lives extend to a broader world that is beyond this physical, this the world that we can sense with our five senses. I guess it is also a very broad window that we can contemplate over. Any thoughts about our humanity? Brother Colin.
Humanity is a different kind of life, isn't it? It's, you know, we talked about life before and senses, which animals have life, trees have life, even to a certain extent, inanimate objects have some kind of consciousness. But human beings have refined, life is refined in human beings to such an extent that the senses are also immaterial senses, such as imagination, memory, aspiration, ambition, all of these things, desire, longing, which other animals don't have, which other living creatures don't have. And these bring into play more of the divine names, and not just the divine names, configurations of the divine names, certain permutations of the divine names, each of which is itself a divine name. So you can actually multiply the divine names to infinity. You know, every creation, every created being is a mix of certain divine names in a certain measure, you know, a certain qadar, a certain amount, a certain, you can say, measure of divine names, a certain permutation, a certain configuration. So, you know, all of these things come into play and come into consideration at the level of life, and even more so at the level of human life. So every time we step up, you know, we've gone now from, you know, existing, then to life, and now to human life. So Ustad is taking us through the hierarchy, you know, through the maratib al-wujud, through the hierarchy of being. And now he's come to human life. And then afterwards, he's going to go up a step and he's going to go to the truths of submission and belief. So he's going up through the pyramid, you know, through through the hierarchy. And at each step that you go up, you see that more and more realms are opened up, more worlds are opened up, more possibilities, and more divine names.
Brother Salih, any thoughts on this
No,
part?
I think just Kohen Hoja really expressed it nicely. Just one thing is I just checked there's kind of what is the word that is used for immaterial food and bounty. So Istat uses the phrase of alam, mulk, and malakut. So again, just again, given that now he's walking us through the stages, the stages of existence, right? Existence, life, as Kohen Hoja mentioned. So imagine just being a human being, how again things can open up. So it's not really about just these material worlds, right? Then you have the spiritual world, right? You have the alami malakut, really. But depending on your state of spirituality, you may be again in connection with other worlds, right? You may be able to relate to other worlds. Again, this another venue that comes, right, with humanity, with being created as human being, potentially. So I found it interesting, just not just the material, the blessings, bounties in this world, but also being able to relate to the world beyond our world, our material world or visible world.
So, inshallah, we can step to the next paragraph, since it is the topic is our worshipfulness. Then, since he has given you Islam and belief, which require infinite bounties and are nourished through countless fruits of mercy and our supreme humanity, he has opened up before you a table of bounties, pleasure, and happiness, which includes the sphere of contingency together with the sphere of his sacred names and attributes. Then, through giving you love, which is a light of belief, he has bestowed on you an endless table of bounties happiness, and pleasure. So with this bounty of being a humanity, he's talking about a supreme humanity, which is kind of uh, finding a full meaning of our humanity. And he claims that it's through our faith, our religion, our understanding of the divine, or building up this relation with the divine, as far as I understand. So, any words on this meaning of supreme humanity, our relation with the Creator, how this kind of elevates our humanity in a way and makes a broader meaning even in this world that we benefit from, with our five senses plus with our feelings and attributes, with our humanity. How does it make sense more with our belief, and we broaden our benefit also? At the same time, we fulfill a meaning of supreme humanity. What does this mean? Any ideas, Brother Colin?
Again, we're going up the ladder, aren't we here? We've gone from existence to life, from life to human life, and now we're looking at human life that is lived in submission and belief, and that opens up, as Saleh was saying, it opens up the world of Malakut to us. Malakut, Jabarut, all of the realms of the unseen, some of which are accessible to us. And we are, as human beings, stretched between Mulk and Malakut anyway, because of the angelic presence. Angels are present everywhere, in all of creation, including us, with us, and they bear the names which are manifest in us. So we are, in a sense, stretched between Mulk and Malakut. And to realize that opens again up other worlds of possibility,
I don't want to, I'm not sure if we have time for this, but there was questions in the chat, so I want to point one of them now, since you're talking about it. The question is, doesn't the Alem-i Melekut under the Alem-i Mulk as well?
Sorry, what was the question?
Isn't the Alem-i Melekut under the Alem-i Mulk as well?
Under it.
Under it.
I'm not sure what is meant by under it. It's beyond it, but it's not. I don't think it's physically under it.
What do we mean by saying Alem Mulk, Alem Malakut shortly, if we want to explain?
If we think in terms of Samawat wal Ard, the Samawat for us are representing the immaterial worlds, the unseen world. So the world of the imagination, the world of sleep, the world of the hereafter, the world of the spirits. It's the immaterial world, which is, in a sense, the other side of the mirror of this world. So, for example, when you sleep, you have access to Alam al-Malakut because normally it's hidden from us. Heaven and hell and the hereafter and Alam al-Barzakh, they're all part of the Ghaib, the unseen. And the unseen, apparently, as far as I know, I may be wrong, the unseen is of two kinds. One is relative unseen, Nesbi, and the other one is Ghaibul Ghaib or Ghaibul Mutlaq, which is, of course, the realm of Janaba Allah himself, which is not accessible. But there is there are some who can access the relative unseen, like some of the great scholars and saints were able to converse with spirits or with malaika. They were able to, have visions of Malakut. So these things are accessible, near-death experiences, dreams. When we dream, that is access to one of the realms of Malakut. So we are stretched between the two. We are stretched between the immaterial and the material. Of course, our spirit, our ruh, which is also immaterial, that is from Malakut. So we are hybrid, really. We are a mix. I mean, physically, you can't really locate it because it's not a physical realm. Maybe Saleh can explain better.
I think no, Colin, I think it was very clear what you said. So thank you.
There was a, back to our understanding of the Esma, there was a question related to that too. So they're asking on the combination of other Esmas, or every Esma is unique. If one Esma, one is combination of other isms or Esmas, or every Esma is unique. Would there be difference in knowledge of Allah if you understand in either way? So in this
I'm not sure. You know, all of the perfections, all of the attributes of perfection are manifest in degrees, right? So you get less and more. I mean, they're not manifest in the absolute sense. So as far as I see it, and it's a very primitive way of understanding it, so you have to forgive it, is like a mix, like a recipe. When you're making a cake, you have like 2 grams of this, or 4 grams of that, or 6 grams of this. The creation is like this because it has a miqdar, you know, it has a measurement, and the names are reflected in particular measures. As I said, it's a very crude and very primitive way of understanding, but I think it makes sense. It's like the mixture of a cake. A recipe has different weights and different measures, or a medicine has different potions in it, different liquids in it, different medications in it at different strengths and different measures. So this is how I see it. So some people have more wisdom than others. Some people have more knowledge than others. You know, they reflect more. This is what I meant when I said a mix of names.
Thank you.
I mean,
Said Nursi talks about constellation of names. So that may make it even better to understand. You know, each creature is a burj of asma. You know, a constellation, and there is one name which may be manifest more strongly in that particular constellation.
More dominant in one realm, but
yeah, more dominant. Yes, sorry, more dominant.
So
yeah, I mean, just,
go ahead, brothers.
Just briefly, I mean, it seems, and again, at least according to Muslim scholars, that I mean, we don't know about the natures of the names, right? The nature of Asma, but again, it seems that for us, the only way to relate to them through, I mean, how they are manifested in the creation, and as Colin Hoja noted that. I mean, sometimes you see that they are manifested together, right? And again, we know from the Risala that at least human beings are the one who manifest, right, the names in the most comprehensive way. Sometimes they are together, sometimes they are separate. But generally speaking, it seems at least the consensus of Muslim scholars has been that we don't know the nature of the name. Just to put it.
So actually, I want to step to the next paragraph because it is kind of summarizing all of them, and then maybe we can come back to what we're talking on again. That's to say, with regard to your corporeality or material existence, you're an insignificant, weak, impotent, lowly, restricted, limited particular. But through his favor, you have as though risen from being an insignificant particular to being a universal, luminous whole. For by giving you life, he has raised you from particularity to a sort of universality, and by giving you humanity to true universality, and by bestowing Islam on you to an exalted, luminous universality, and by giving you knowledge and love of him, he has elevated you to an all-compassing light. So what is this light, Brother Colin? So we also talk about in the previous paragraph about a love that is given to us. I'm sorry, I went to the wrong. So he has bestowed on you an endless table of bounties, happiness, and pleasure through giving you love, which is a light of belief. So any words on this? This is kind of the top of the pyramid with your definition. So we are going step by step in this existence, and what is this whole climbing up? We are coming closer to the existence, the understanding of the Esma, or what is it all about?
This is difficult with 2 minutes left to the end of the
Yeah.
program. But he's given us love, the light of belief, with which we can taste and experience the joy of his names and attributes, because the universe is created out of love, and we are giving a yearning for love. And if we are believers and we nurture that love, then we can achieve a position which is far beyond our station. As you said, from perspective of material being, from our materiality and corporeality, we are very weak. We are base, lowly, impotent, restricted, limited. We are characterized by our finitude in all senses of the word, but through his favors, through divine bestowments, we can expand. And from being a juz, being a particular, to taking on a kind of universality. The perfect man, Insan Kamil, which for us, is the Prophet, as-salatu wassalam, is like the whole of humanity combined. It's why the Quran says that if you kill one individual, it's like killing the whole of humanity. So by divine light and divine grace, we are made luminous. We are the mirror through which his names are reflected. We are created in his image, which means the ability to reflect in the most comprehensive manner all of the beautiful names, and to long for them and to nurture them. So our creational disposition is such that the divine names can be inferred from it, read from it. So that's what I understand.
Any words on this, Saleh?
So I mean, just briefly, that given we are almost, the time is almost up. One of the verses in the Quran, right, that talks about Allah Subhanahu wa Taala being light, right, Nurun ala Nur. So it seems that once human beings, when they basically reflect on the stages, right, the stages of life, contemplate, and then eventually this will lead to ma'rifah and muhabba, right? Muhabba Allah. So when they know God, Allah, they know Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, and then they love Him, this will eventually bring them closer to His light, basically, right? That it opens the world of light, because the closer to be Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, then you are closer in a way to the light, to the nur. My understanding.
Thank you. And one of the listeners reminded us that the verse "Inna Allah ishtara min al-mu'minina anfusahum wa amwalahum bi anna lahumul jannah" reminds us this whole concept of being worshipful against what we received from Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. And I want to also read this last paragraph, which kind of concludes about this whole relation. O nafs, you have received this wage, that all these, steps of existence that we talk on, and you're charged with the pleasurable, bountiful, easy, and light duty of worship. So we are kind of opening up our mirror to an absolute existence with this, building up this relation, which is very much pleasurable, easy, and light duty of worship. But you're lazy in this too. If you perform it half-heartedly, it is as though the former wages are insufficient for you, and you are overbearing the wanting greater things. Also, you're complaining, why was my prayer not accepted? But your right is not complaint, it is supplication. Through his pure grace and munificence, Almighty God bestows paradise and eternal happiness. And any ending remarks? We are out of time.
Not from me.
Thank you. Saleh Abi, any remarks, or can close by a prayer, inshallah?
I can say thank you.
Okay, can you close by a prayer?
Who, me?
Yes.
Okay. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين آمين الحمد لله رب العالمين.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
It's great to have you again. See you soon last week. And please keep us in your prayers until our next meeting.
Thank you so much.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.